Doing a last minute split screen.
All right. Hello, everyone. We're live with EdTechTeam Online. So happy to be with you tonight or this morning, wherever you are in the world. We just want to talk a little bit tonight about our Teacher Leader program. And before we get started, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Dominique Dines. I get to work with our online program with EdTechTeam. I'm based out of Guadalajara, Mexico. And I love that we get to work with an international cohort of teachers and educators around the world. So I'm going to pass it over to Tracy.
Hi, everyone. I am Tracy Purdy, and I'm the Director of Online Learning for the EdTech team. I am super excited to just get to share with you guys a little bit more about the Teacher Leader Certificate. I think that some people don't know what it is, and we hope to share tonight what the Teacher Leader Certificate is and the impact that it's been having in hundreds of classrooms across the country, across the world, actually, with all of our global cohorts. We have had, this will be our 6th cohort of teachers, and so we're super excited to start this in less than a week, and hopefully a few more of you will join us. So thanks. So we'll start, and the first thing that we want to share is just what the Teacher Leader Certificate is. And the Teacher Leader Certificate is a cohort, so it includes 6 different courses, and we'll get into each of the different 6 courses and what they are. Each course is 2 weeks long, so it's a total of 12-week commitment. Each week you'll be spending about 7 to 8 hours, but you can do it on your own time. There are scheduled hangouts on air. You will be collaborating with other cohort members at certain times. So you will have to meet with other people, but you can schedule most of that on your own time. If you can't make one of the hangouts on air, they're all recorded, so you can tune in a little bit later as well. But the Teacher Leader Certificate, what it really is just a set of courses that we're hoping will really inspire and empower teachers to make a difference in their classroom and really change their learning environment and just create a better education for the students in your classroom. The Teacher Leader Certificate is surrounded around the EdTechTeam honeycomb. And the EdTechTeam honeycomb talks about empowering teachers, inspiring learning spaces, having an engaged community, talking about student agency, and really being a courageous leader in your classroom. So we'll focus on one of these elements of the EdTechTeam honeycomb for each of our courses. Sorry, Dominique, I skipped ahead also on that other slide. It is a global cohort. This is one map from one of our cohorts, so you can see that there are teachers that you'll be collaborating with from around the world, which is really, really fun to get that global perspective. And you will have projects that you'll have to work with other teachers, so you might get to work with teachers who are in Hawaii or in Hong Kong or in Australia or Canada or Florida. So teachers around the world that you'll get to connect with. So let's go ahead next and just kind of talk about some of the different courses that are included in the Teacher Leader Certificate. So Dominique is going to share about the Global Collaboration and Community course.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite courses. This is one that you'll actually be starting with as we start the Teacher Leader program, and it's Global Collaboration and Community. And so this just really focuses on getting you more connected with other educators around the world. You'll have to be brave, and you'll have to start sharing some things on social media. We introduce you to a few different types of social media that you can actually use just as yourself, as an educator, to grow your learning network and also to use with your students. So as Tracy mentioned, looking at our global map of educators all over the world, it's kind of fun because you get to get connected with classrooms within the cohort and also outside the cohort. So the final project just has you integrating some of these global elements into your classroom and actually being able to implement exactly what you're learning the next day in your classroom. So that's the first course. And then the next one, Tracy's going to tell us a little bit about.
Yep. So project-based learning is the next one. And with this course, what we're really trying to do is get the learning in the classroom to be real and authentic, connect it with the real world. We want to make sure that we're helping you to create meaningful learning experiences for your students, and also create those learning experiences where students can't just go Google the answer. So we don't want to present learning that the students can just find the answer on the internet. We want to create questions in which the students have to go and use the internet to answer questions, but then they have to go a little bit deeper and actually build their own meaning around that. So that really will help our students create and find answers to problems and really be problem solvers. It really gives them student agency and understanding over their learning. So in this course, you'll learn about what project-based learning is. You'll see some great examples of what project-based learning is, and also investigate some other things besides project-based learning, product-based learning, the 20% project or 20% time. And then you'll actually get to start creating, in this short course, a project-based learning experience for your students. The next course, flipped and blended learning.
And in this course, we just talk about the traditional method of flipped learning, which many people assume or think is maybe doing the work in class and then watching a video at home. And we kind of challenge that theory, and we just look at different types of flipped learning and blended learning. Learning that can be flipped within the classroom itself with the devices that students have actually at school, and also just how this whole idea of flipped and blended learning can really free you up as a teacher and give you more time, maybe as your students work in groups, or just flip a few of the things, or using different apps that we talk about just to make your life a little bit easier, and then using that instant feedback with your students.
And we really try we really try to build all of these courses on each other too. So when you start with that global collaboration and community project-based learning, flipped and blended learning, you're building those concepts and you're getting to know the people in your cohort and collaborate with the people in your cohort as well.
And so building on this course, the next one we go into is visual literacy.
Which is an interesting course that I don't think a lot of teachers have ever really focused very much time on how important visuals are in the classroom and how important visuals are for learning. So for you as the teacher, you need to be creating visuals, infographics, sketch notes that can help to teach that whatever that concept is to students, that we can use visuals to help our students learn these concepts. And also for our students to be able to understand that they can use visuals to share what they're learning, because visuals really, it's very important in our learning process, and sometimes we learn very differently from visuals. So we'll really dive into what is visual literacy, what is visual thinking, what is the dual coding theory, and how can we communicate better by even using visuals in the classroom. Most teachers who take this course are very first skeptical on why would I need to take a course on visual literacy, and then totally blown away by how much they learn and how much of an impact that it does have in their classroom when they really do focus on those visuals.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the visual literacy one. I think it's a lot of fun for teachers.
Yes, yeah, it's very different. You get to create some of those visuals and dive into some of the tools that you don't think that you would need in the classroom and probably hadn't ever learned about. And so you get a little time to play around and create some visuals.
And then the next one we have is on assessment. So in this course, we look at different types of assessment, and it's really focused on just giving you some tools, some digital tools to give your students immediate feedback. So we talk about a bunch of different types of, whether it be like formative or summative assessment as you're looking at your students. And then we also, with the digital tools, we're also telling you just ways that you can give your students extra practice for those that might need to maybe review a topic a little bit more, or go back and look at something. And we also get into the idea of digital portfolios, which we know a lot of schools are now asking teachers to do in their classrooms. And so we just give you some ideas of ways to make that a reality.
Awesome. It's another course full of tons of new and fun tools. And we'll connect you with some of the people who create some of those tools as well for a little overview and fun and learning how to do that. Use those tools more effectively. The last course is on redesigning your learning space. And this course is really fun as well because you get to really just think about your learning space. You get to assess what your learning space looks like right now. You get to really dive into some of the things that you can do to make your learning space better and create some plans and some changes for some learning space changes that you'll make. And really think about how that space does affect learning. This course is not about spending a ton of money and going and buying all new furniture for your classroom. It's really about looking at your space and seeing the kind of things that you can change right now, whether it's decluttering and how that clutter does affect student learning, that it does distract students when they have all this clutter in the classroom. So it's just really focusing on that space and what that space does for learning, really understanding how creating a clean and creative space, whether it might be just putting up some new whiteboard walls in your classroom, allows for a different kind of learning in your classroom. So it's a really fun way to bring it all together, to think about all of these different tools that you're starting with, connecting with other educators, thinking about how you can create different learning experiences for your students with project-based learning, blending your learning so that it's not just by the textbook, maybe bringing in some movies or some videos of other people sharing or you sharing about a topic, talking about visual literacy, assessment, and bringing it all together when we talk about that actual space where all of that learning occurs. So that's kind of an overview of the courses. We would love to know if anybody has any questions about the learning spaces at all. Or about any of the courses, please reach out to us either in the Q&A or you can send either Tracy at EdTechTeam or Dominique at EdTechTeam an email to find out more about any of the courses. So next couple of things that we wanted to talk about were some common questions that people do have about the Teacher Leader Cohort. The first question that a lot of people ask is, how much time am I going to have to spend? What kind of commitment am I making? And you're required over the 2-week period to spend 15 hours on each course. However you break that up over the 2-week period is totally up to you. You could spend 15 hours the first week doing all of the work if you wanted to. You could break it down into an hour a day. It is really up to you and when you have the time. You could do it over your weekend when you're not with students. So it is 15 hours per course over each 2-week period. So each course is 2 weeks long. There are 6 courses. It's a total of 90 hours that you'll be spending learning about all of these different topics.
Yeah, and Tracy, I just popped this slide up there one more time because I realized I wasn't sharing it before.
Oh, perfect.
Yep, just to give people that idea. And this is something that we see a lot in all the feedback from the teacher leaders who have gone through the program, is just the awesome flexibility that this online program provides. Because as Tracy hours per week, but you could really, if you needed to, you could crank this out in a weekend, or you could do just an hour every day over the 2-week period. So it's really nice.
And we know how it is that there are sometimes, maybe for one of the courses, you'll be able to do an hour a day. And for another one, you might have to spend a weekend really diving into those concepts. There will be time that you need to collaborate with other cohort members. And every person who's taken the cohort has said that they've gotten more out of it when they have taken the time to really connect with other cohort members and make those connections, because you learn so much more when you connect with another educator who's outside of your school or classroom.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So one of our next common questions is, who should take the Teacher Leader program? And really, we've had teachers, classroom teachers, K through 12. We've had technology integration specialists, TOSA's teachers on special assignment, media specialists. We've had art teachers, music teachers, Phi-Ed teachers, principals. We've had quite a few different principals take the cohort as well. Dominique, who else am I missing?
Did you mention the specialty teachers?
I did, yeah.
Music and language and...
Yeah, language teachers. We've had culinary arts teachers take it before. So really it's really for anybody who wants to start making some of those changes in their classroom to empower their students and empower themselves as an educator to change that learning in their classroom.
Mm-hmm. Tracy, we also, Chris Betcher just asked if this course is just as relevant to teachers outside the US. And so I wanted to jump back just to the map of where everybody has been. Do you want to talk a little bit about the international cohort again?
Yeah, you know what? It has been very, very relevant for teachers all over the world. We've had quite a few teachers from Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Saudi Arabia. We've had teachers from, I'm trying to remember right now, I should remember this off the top of my head. I feel like it's almost like 17 different countries that have taken it. And really, we try to make sure that whatever the learning is, that you're fitting it to the needs and the standards in your area. But really, all of these concepts apply to teachers around the world. Teachers around the world are thinking about how they can introduce authentic learning experiences into their classroom. And this cohort really helps you to think about, why am I doing what I'm doing in my classroom? How can I make the biggest impact? How can I let my students have some agency and voice in their learning? How can I as a teacher be empowered? And that's really what we're focusing on. That EdTechTeam Honeycomb is kind of our guiding principle of just, we want teachers to be courageous leaders. We want them to feel empowered, and that's kind of our goal in every single one of the courses. So I would say yes. Dominique, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I totally agree with you. And I find the feedback is pretty unanimous from teachers around the world. And that, as Tracy said, just the themes that we talk about throughout the 12 weeks really can apply to every teacher wherever you are. And that's what makes this so powerful as you go through this program.
And what I think is really powerful is that in this cohort, we have teachers from different countries collaborating on lessons. And that doesn't happen very often. We don't have teachers that are creating lessons on global collaboration and community that live in Australia, Hong Kong, and Canada all together. And we really try to encourage the teachers to continue that relationship. And I know that there's a group of teachers from the first cohort that started a book study together, and 3 different countries. And they're now going into their 3rd year where they're going to be doing this collaborative book study with their classes, and they made that connection in the teacher leader cohort. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Our next question, which a lot of people ask, is if you can earn graduate credits through this program. So Tracy can speak a little bit more to that as well.
Yeah, so you can earn graduate credits. We have, you can get graduate credits either from Adams State University, which is in Alamosa, Colorado, or from Augustana University, which is in South Dakota. Either one of them, you would get 6 graduate credits. Both of them, it is an additional $55 per credit if you do want those credits. And after you start the cohort, we'll send out an email saying, do you want these credits? If you do, you can register for them. A lot of teachers don't need the graduate credit. They either just want to continue their learning, or they might need some continuing education hours for their teacher certification. And if you're in another country, we're really working hard also to work and understand all of the requirements for graduate credit outside of the United States. And so maybe you can help us with that if you're from another country and you need some graduate credits.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then we kind of just wanted to talk before we open it up to more questions, which I see we have a couple coming in on the live chat. But just to give you an idea of what other people have said about the teacher leader cohort, we've already mentioned a couple times that the feedback has been super positive. And so we have a couple quotes here, which are kind of lengthy, but it just really echoes the voice of so many people who have gone through this program. And, oops, let me get back to the screen. Sorry about that. Just about, trying new things and being a driving force and, getting people excited about what's happening in the classrooms. And then we have another one here who's just highly recommending this course to anyone who's looking for maybe innovative ways to try new things and just to change things up in your classroom. Tracy mentioned that a lot as we were describing the 6 different courses that you go through. And we hope that everyone walks away with a new set of tools and just ideas and ways to innovate, along with the global connection that you'll be making with the international cohort.
It's awesome. This cohort was really born out of the fact that we, at EdTechTeam, we were meeting a lot of teachers face-to-face at our weekend events or summits or professional development at their schools, but really wanted to connect teachers around the world to learn together, and really wanted to continue that learning beyond those face-to-face events. And this is such a great way to do it. We have made so many connections with teachers around the world. Teachers have been connecting with each other, as I said before, and they continue that learning together. It really helps us to, as teachers, be our best us by connecting with other people and challenging us and getting great ideas from other teachers around the world, and continuing to push us to be the very best teachers that we can and provide the very best learning for our students that we can. So we're very passionate about it. We're really excited about the next cohort that starts next Monday. We hope that some more of you guys will join the teachers that we have. Right now we have about 4 different, we have teachers from Canada, Hong Kong, about 15 different states in the US. So it will be a really great global cohort that we're excited to get to know. Dominique, a few questions that came in?
Yeah, we have a question here from Marianne asking, is there anywhere online that you can see a course outline with week-to-week topics or assignments?
We have, so if you go to edtechteam.online, and then you click on the Teacher Leader Certificate, you'll get to see at least the descriptions of all the different courses. And I'm not sure that we have the actual syllabi linked on there, but if, Marianne, you would like those syllabi so that you can look over them a little bit more carefully, I would be absolutely happy to send them to you. If you just email tracy@edtechteam.com, I can send you all of those syllabi that do go into more detail about step-by-step, week-by-week topics that you'll be talking about.
And then, great, Tracy, we have another question from Barb. She's saying that many institutions in the US require an actual certificate. Digital copy.
So, yep. So we do go through and run a digital certificate for teachers when they finish the course. If you do get graduate credit, you will get an official transcript mailed to you. If you do need an official certificate, we are absolutely happy to help you get that, Barb. If they don't approve of just, it is an official certificate, but you do have to just print it yourself. So if you need an official one, then we are more than happy to help you get that. So it looks like if you have any other questions, if questions come in, if you're not watching this live right now, please reach out to us at any time. Our contact information is on the screen. You can either send out a tweet or email either Dominique or I. Also follow that EdTechTeam Online hashtag on Twitter, because everybody shares their learning from the cohort and any of our online courses from EdTechTeam right there. So it's a good chance for you to peek in and see what teachers are learning. And I just saw another question come in, Dominique, I can take that too. So what happens if you're not a classroom teacher? So we've had a lot of technology integration specialists who don't have a classroom of their own. A lot of times it's thinking about the lessons that you might actually be teaching teachers. So if if you have a different circumstance where you're not actually creating lessons for students, maybe you're teaching teachers how to use these tools, we are more than happy to work with you and be flexible on creating a different type of assignment. So I don't know what the circumstance is there, but we've definitely been flexible with any other teacher or any other person who's taking the cohort who has a different teaching role.
All right.
So,
yeah, unless anyone has any other questions, I don't see any others in the chat. But thank you so much for joining us. And as Tracy said, please feel free to reach out to us via email or at Twitter. And yep, Marianne just confirmed that she is teaching teachers. So that's great.
Yep. And Dominique, I want to interject really quick. If you're watching this and within the next 24 hours, we would love to offer you guys the early bird pricing. The price is $7.99 for the cohort. If you would like the early bird pricing, this does not include the graduate credit. That is a separate cost. If you would like the early bird pricing for $5.99 within the next 24 hours, if you use the promo code FRIEND, then you can get that. And we would love to have you join the cohort, and we really look forward to hearing from you and hope you'll join the cohort.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.